Hello everybody, it's TannerFishies here, back again with a new Ninjago video here on the channel. In today's video we're going to be comparing and contrasting the sacrifices of Zane from Season 3 and Nia from Season 15. Now of course this video is just going to be done because I want to go ahead and give my 2 cents on this discussion. I've seen a lot of people debate and kind of compare and contrast these 2 sacrifices, so I figured I would join in the discussion and present to you guys my own thoughts on both of these, and I'm going to be determining which one was more impactful, which one made me the most sad, which one was better executed, and which sacrifice overall was just done a little bit better. Now obviously this video will indeed contain spoilers for Season 15, so if you've not yet seen Ninjago Season 15, I'm not sure what you're waiting for. It's really good, you should totally go ahead and watch it, but in case you guys just haven't seen it yet, just know that this video will indeed contain spoilers. That much has pretty much been obvious already. Also, in terms of obvious things that we still need to give disclaimers about, this video will just contain my own opinions. Everything in this video is just my own thoughts, not the definitive choice. You can go ahead and say what you want about either of these sacrifices. I'm just going to be going ahead and giving my own thoughts on them, determining, like I said, which one was more impactful to me personally by taking a look at what each sacrifice did to the character and the scene in which they were sacrificed. Now let's go ahead and take a look at Zane's sacrifice first. Let's go ahead and talk about his sacrifice. Now towards the end of Season 3, Zane managed to go ahead and take on the Overlord one-on-one. After the Overlord had collected the golden weapons, melted them down into the golden armor, and Zane obviously could not handle the power of the golden armor. He kind of latched onto the armor, which obviously if you guys know Ninjago lore, the golden weapons can't really be handled by normal people, unless you're somebody like Garmadon, but normal people can't really handle that power, and Zane himself was kind of feeling the effects of that. He started breaking down physically and mentally as the Overlord taunted him as Zane slowly withered away. Fortunately for Zane, he managed to go ahead and reroute a lot of his power and blast the Overlord with a huge beam of ice that actually managed to do some damage. Now throughout Zane's actual impact and throughout this entire scene, he starts having some really emotional flashbacks featuring characters like the ninja and his father and various events that have actually happened to him and to the ninja throughout the first couple of seasons. It's a very good way of establishing some type of emotion. The flashbacks especially do this tremendously. I mean, the audience is obviously looking at something extremely sad, but add into the mix a lot of flashbacks and a lot of extremely happy moments featuring the character and his friends. It starts to become a very emotional scene, especially in terms of the score. The music is absolutely classic here. It's the same classic Zane sacrifice theme that we've heard over and over again throughout Ninjago, but this is like the first time that it was truly impactful and the first time that it truly meant something. Zane was slowly withering away, and the music, the flashbacks, all of that was extremely emotional, not only for the audience but also for the ninja. Ultimately, Zane managed to blow himself up along with the Overlord, and all was right in the world except Zane was gone. Following Zane's sacrifice, the ninja held a funeral for Zane, but it was soon revealed to Pixel that Zane had indeed survived somehow and managed to start building himself a brand new body, which we saw in Season 4. According to the ninja, Zane was dead following Season 3, until they got word in Season 4 that, like I said, he was still alive and he was on Master Chen's island somehow. Now I do have a couple of issues with that. Like I said, the actual sacrifice itself is glorious. It's beautiful, it's a very emotional and very raw scene for Zane, the ninja, and the audience, but I really didn't care for the ending of Rebooted. I know that's kind of a controversial opinion, but I really wish that we as an audience would not have found out that Zane was still alive. I feel like showing us that he's okay immediately following a really emotional sacrifice and a funeral isn't really the best way of going about it. What I really would have preferred is Zane's big reveal to be saved until Season 4. Imagine if we just saw Zane die and we really didn't see that ending scene of Rebooted where he puts himself back together, and then following that we jump into Season 4, and at the ending of Season 4's first episode we see Zane in his titanium form chained up. I feel like if that was the first time that we had actually seen Zane again following Rebooted, I think that would have made the sacrifice a lot better and a lot more impactful. Unfortunately though, the series decided to literally show us that Zane was okay after his sacrifice. It still left us on a cliffhanger, but I wish it would have went for a more, I guess, gut-punching cliffhanger, if that makes sense. I wish they would have made us feel pain for a little bit following Season 3, not knowing that Zane was still alive. But ultimately, I don't really hate Zane's sacrifice. I think it's actually really well done. One of Ninjago's best scenes overall, one of the best final battles throughout all of Ninjago, that's for sure. But does it compare to Nia's sacrifice from Season 15? What's similar and what's different? Well, following Nia's sacrifice in Season 15, we got to see her actually showcase a new form. Now, this is referred to right now by the sets as NRG Nia, and I guess that does kind of make sense, but Nia decided decided to obtain this new form after she recognized what she needed to do. Jay was ultimately dying, he wasn't in a good place, he had absorbed a lot of water in his lungs and was pretty much drowning. With Nia's newfound power, she was able to remove the water from Jay's lungs and ultimately save him in the process. Unfortunately, this new NRG Nia form, according to characters like Benthamar, is permanent. There's not really a way to go back to it. So Nia literally sacrificed her own physical form just to go ahead and save Jay and the rest of Ninjago. Afterwards, she managed to take on Wajira and Kalmar and ultimately defeated Wajira, saving Ninjago from her and also clearing up all the flooding that went on in Ninjago City as a result of Wajira's invasion. She then said bye to the ninja as well as saying goodbye to Jay, who she still recognized obviously, but she also recognized that she had a new ability now and a new, I guess, duty, if you will. She isn't so much a ninja anymore as much as she is just something else entirely. I like to refer to her as the Queen of the Sea. Do with that information what you will, but she decided to literally become one with the ocean. Her body was physically water, and she was indeed one with her own elemental power. Like I said, this sacrifice is definitely impactful because this new form is apparently permanent. She can't really go back from this, and she sacrificed her physical body in order to save Jay as well as the rest of Ninjago. What I really enjoy about this sacrifice is just how raw it is as well. It is quite different from Zane's sacrifice though. Nia's sacrifice isn't as, I guess, flashy as Zane's sacrifice was, if that makes sense. Nia's was a little bit more down to earth. She actually recognized who she needed to be, what she was physically now in terms of an elemental being, and she had a very heartfelt goodbye with the ninja that we really did not see from Zane's perspective. In terms of Zane's sacrifice, he just kind of instantly exploded and he really didn't get a goodbye scene with the ninja. Nia did, and I felt like that made Nia's sacrifice a lot more impactful in that regard. Nia actually got to say goodbye to her friends, but decided that she was needed elsewhere. The ninja team would be fine without her. She needed to go to places unknown. Now, like I said, that is very different from Zane's sacrifice. I also really enjoyed Nia's funeral, if you want to call it that. It's kind of like her memorial, and that is something that was also very similar to Zane's sacrifice too, where the ninja held a funeral for Zane after he was sacrificed. They did the same thing for Nia, except Nia's was a little bit more, I guess, less impactful, I imagine. The reason I'm saying that is because with Zane's funeral, we didn't know that he was still alive. We just felt like Zane was definitely gone entirely, and his funeral was a lot more impactful because of that. The scene in which we actually got the reveal that Zane was still alive didn't really happen until the very end of his funeral and at the end of the season. With Nia, we still know that she's alive. We still know that she's still out there, she's still doing her thing, she's still being herself, obviously, but she's just not with the ninja team. She's not a ninja anymore, she's off doing her own thing, and the ninja just kind of have this memorial for her regardless, which, like I said, is not as emotionally impactful to me because the knowledge is still there that Nia is still alive. Now, what makes this scene super impactful, though, is Jay's reaction. I feel like all the ninja reacting to Nia's departure definitely is what drives this scene, for me at least, emotionally, especially in the case of Jay. Like I said, Jay obviously lost somebody that he truly cared about, and that is quite rough for Jay, but I feel like the emotion is kind of lost in a way because we as an audience know that Nia is still around. Granted, she's not going to be part of the team for the time being, but it's not like she's dead. She's still alive. So I guess I was just kind of confused regarding what the scene's intentions were, but then I realized that it was just to showcase the emotions of the other characters and let them say their goodbyes to Nia. So for that, I do need to respect that scene, but I feel like Zane's funeral was done just a little better. In terms of the sacrifice though, which one do I prefer? Do I prefer Zane's sacrifice or Nia's sacrifice? Ultimately, I feel like both of them are still very impactful in their own ways, clearly. Each ninja kind of had their own reason for sacrificing themselves, and I feel like both of those reasons are extremely noble and respectable. So, you know, credit where credit's due. Both of these scenes are written extremely well, but in terms of which one hit me harder, I honestly have to say Zane's. I think Zane's sacrifice was definitely a lot more impactful at the time. Both sacrifices do kind of make the mistake of revealing that, yeah, these characters are still going to be alive, but they're just not going to be around for a while, which I feel like is definitely a flaw with both of these sacrifices, if we're being honest. But Zane's is still very impactful to me for a lot of reasons aside just raw emotion. I feel like the scene is set up a lot better. I feel like the scene itself is a lot more real and explicit than Nia's sacrifice. Zane was physically dying in his, and I felt like that hit a lot harder, as opposed to Nia, who just transformed into a, I guess, form that she can't really come back from, which is still very noble in and of itself in order to save the ones that she loves, especially. But in terms of Zane, I honestly feel like his sacrifice was a little bit better. Just my own opinion regarding that. I feel like at the end of the day, both of these sacrifices matter tremendously, and both of them should be respected and looked at fondly. I feel like both scenes are very well written, both seasons are very well written, and both of the characters actually did a tremendous job in what they were attempting to do. I just preferred Zane's just a little bit more, I guess. At the end of the day, I felt like that scene was just a little bit better, but as I said, that's just my own opinion. Regarding this video, you guys, that's going to pretty much wrap it up for my thoughts here today. But now it's time to turn it over to you guys in the comments section. Which sacrifice do you think was more impactful? Do you think Zane's was more impactful, or do you think that Nia's was more impactful? Leave all your reasonings down below as to why you chose what you chose. Thank you so much for checking out this video, guys. If you enjoyed, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, do all that fun stuff, and check out the links down below in the description from other forms of social media. As always, big shout out goes out to my Patreon supporters, including once again the marvelous Jan. Thank you guys so much for checking out this video once again. My name is TannerFishies, and with that I bid you farewell.